Hi everyone, as you can see today, look, it's a nice beautiful sunny day, so I'm going to show you a nice easy way to cook a bit of fish on your barbecue without it sticking and falling through the grates. And we're going to use a little bit of wood, which I'll show you what to do with it in a minute. We're going to go inside first and make a nice little half Greek, half niçoise type salad to go with it. So let's go indoors and get on with it. First up, what we're going to want to do is I've got my little bit of wood in there. Now, as far as I'm aware, you can use any wood you want as long as it's untreated and hasn't got any chemicals in or on it, and then it won't taint your food. So what I've done is I've just soaked it overnight, preferably. You can do it for minimum of, I'd say, 2 hours. I've just done it in my sink in the kitchen, made sure it's clean first. Put a cup of water on top or a glass of water to make sure it's fully underneath, and that will soak up all the water that's in there, and that will stop it burning when we put it on the barbecue. But for the minute, just going to leave that there. Next up, we're going to get our salmon ready. This is just a normal piece of frozen salmon from one of the supermarkets, nothing too exciting. I've not gone off and caught it myself or anything silly. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to coat it quite heavily with some salt. Now this is going to look strange and sound strange, but what this is going to do is it's going to draw all the moisture out of the fish and make it more meaty when we cook it. We're going to wash most of the, well, all of the salt off before we cook it, so don't worry about it being too salty. Get that all coated in salt. Hopefully you can see that in there. And then that will draw all the moisture out and make it extra tasty. We're just going to pop that in the fridge for about 20 minutes. Now we are at the stage of, we've got our board soaking, we've got our fish in the fridge in salt, doing its thing in there. So now we're going to get on and I'm just going to light the barbecue. That's going to come up to temperature. While that's coming up to temperature and the other things are doing their bits, we can get on with our salad prep. Now for my salad today, you can use whatever you fancy, but this is what I'm going to use. It's like I said earlier, it's half between a niçoise, half between a Greek. So I've got some blanched cut up green beans, I've got some Jersey Royal potatoes, I've got a little bit of rapeseed oil, some oregano, salt and pepper, some sun-dried tomatoes, some feta cubed up, a lemon, I've got a few olives knocking around in the cupboard, so we're going to throw them in, some cherry tomatoes, a cucumber diced up, and a finely diced up red onion, and a little grater which is for the lemon later. I've also got the other half of the cherry tomatoes, which I will show you a nice little trick just to make them a little bit different. So for our little tomato trick, you can see I've got half of them here. I've lit a gas, I've got a rack on top. Now if you don't have a rack, you could even just hold them with a pair of tongs over the flame, put them on the end of a fork. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. I just like it, it gives it a nice sort of, another little element, another little texture, another little flavour, a little bit of smokiness. Then all we're going to do is cook these. I've got it on a high heat until they start blistering. And take them off and job done. So there you can see they've got, oh, it keeps going in and out of focus, they've got bits of black on them, but it's not a problem, it's just all a little bit of extra different flavour, nothing to worry about. Someone tells you they're burnt, chuck them out your kitchen. While our barbecue's coming up to temperature, we're just going to make our salad, so we're just going to get all of our ingredients and just fire them into a big bowl. You don't have to be particular about it. All the oil that's in the sun-dried tomatoes will help make a dressing at the end. And the olives, tomatoes we haven't cooked. Like I said earlier, you can put whatever salad in here you want. We're going to pop in a little bit of oregano. You can use basil, thyme, rosemary, whatever you fancy. Just going to make sure sure I've got all that oil out of there. I'm going to pop in a bit of salt and pepper. And then we're going to get our lemon. If you find it's too hard to squeeze, you can, a couple of tricks. You can either put it in the microwave for a couple of minutes, but be careful, it will be hot, or just put it down on the side and give it a roll, and it breaks all the fibres up inside. You can see now that's all squashy, and you'll be able to squeeze it a lot easier. And another thing, just cut the end off and then just squeeze it in. Like that. I haven't put the feta in yet because I want to put that on the top. But you can see now in there, I'll try not to flick it around the kitchen. You've got a nice, bright, healthy salad for you to go with your salmon. We've got our salad made. We're just going to rinse off our salmon, so just under cold water, just nice and gently. We're just going to rinse off all of this salt. Like so, and then we're going to pat this dry and pop it on our wooden board. Salmon's been washed off. I'm just going to give it a little pat dry with some kitchen roll, and then look at that, we're going to pop it on our soaked board. If you want, you could slice the lemon up and put it underneath, but it's not going to make much difference today for what I'm doing. And then we're just going to go with our little grater. Should have done this before I squeezed it, really. Never mind. You'll see that the lemon zest has come through a little bit, but never mind. And we'll still get a little bit of flavour on there, like so. And then we're just going to pop on a bit of salt and pepper. And that's going to go off to the barbecue. We're just going to pop on now. Our fire's going nicely. I've got a little lump of cherry. I'll fire that on there. Get on. I'm just going to give it a minute to create some smoke before we put the salmon on, because the salmon's not going to be on there very long to get any flavour going on. So we'll just keep an eye on the vents and wait for some smoke to start rolling out. So that's been going for a couple of minutes. You can see that there's a nice bit of smoke coming out. So what we'll do is take the lid off. You can see that the wood is well and truly alight, but we're going to take our soaked wood. It's going to go the indirect side, so you've got fire this side and food this side, and make sure your vent is always the other side from the fire. And we'll give that a couple of minutes and come back and give it a probe. The salmon's had 8 minutes now, so we're just going to have a little check. You can see it's looking pretty tasty. Now, to test if it's cooked, if you just squeeze on the sides, you can see where it's starting to focus. It's starting to come apart here. When you squeeze it, they should break away nicely. I can feel that it's nowhere near cooked yet, so we're going to give that maybe another 5 minutes to start off with. While your salmon is on cooking, you can also get yourself a pan of water on. These are for a couple of poached eggs. All I've done is I've got my 2 eggs, I've put them into boiling water for 10 seconds, whole obviously, and that just starts cooking just inside the egg. And then just as the salmon's going to come off the barbecue, I'll show you how to poach them and get them nice and perfectly runny in the middle. Right, another 5 minutes has passed on a timer, so we're going to go in and check again. Now, we're looking pretty good now. All this white stuff you can see that's come out, that's all the protein out of the fish come out, which is a really good sign to let you know that it's cooked. If you want to carry on cooking a little bit longer, you can. You'll see in a minute when we break into it, it will look quite pink inside. 1, partly because of the smoke, and 2, just because of the way we've cooked it. But don't worry, it will be cooked absolutely perfect. So we're just going to take this in the kitchen and plate it up. So to do our poached eggs, they've had their 10 seconds in the water, so they've just started slightly cooking. We're just going to spin our water around. We don't need it going at Mach 10, it doesn't need to be going at a crazy speed. And then break your egg gently into the middle. And just let that go around for 2 minutes. You just want a gentle little bubble on it. You don't want it going crazy. And there we go, now we're finished. Hopefully we've got a nice, soft, runny egg. Look at that, that'll mix in beautiful. And if we go into the salmon end, you can see that's just flaking away nicely in there. And that will be absolutely amazing. Nice little salad for you.